going on, Andrew?
Hey Kenny, how you doing, buddy? Doing pretty good. Congratulations on your big milestone episode, and I'm glad to be on, buddy.
Thank you so much. And after the last time we talked, I was happy to hear that you wanted to be here. So it's good to have you back, man. Like you mentioned to me on the Facebook message, it's plenty of wrestling that went down last week. It was a busy week, whether you're a wrestling fan or just a wrestler in general. Um, so we'll definitely get into what you have in store coming up and coming matches, up and coming shows like that. But did you by any chance watch WrestleMania this past weekend? And if so, what were your thoughts about it?
Well, I have to be honest and say that I did not watch WrestleMania, but I did keep up with the results as they were going live. I actually had a couple of things going on at the time, but did keep up with the results. And I will say that I was, as always, I'm sure everybody always kind of has a warm place in their heart for WrestleMania, and it's just a special day with all the festivities and the warm fuzzies we get from thinking about it when we were kids. And
Right.
I do definitely always keep up with the show, like I said, and I think the show was probably a great success for WWE. I think it probably did a whole lot of business, and personally, I would say the first three-fourths of the card looked like it was can't miss, and then of course, just for the sheer spectacle of the two last matches, I think that's something that no fan of any kind should miss. I think it sounds like a great show.
I will say, as someone who watched the show at my friend's house this past Sunday, I enjoyed it myself, and this had to be like the first WrestleMania I've ever watched that I didn't really give it high expectations, to tell you the truth. I mean, maybe it was a lot of new faces making their debuts. Maybe I felt maybe the matches wasn't all that highly anticipated. The only two were more anticipated was Cena 2 and Taker versus Punk. But those two matches that I've already mentioned were my favorites of the night. I would have given Taker and Punk the notch for my favorite match if the match would have went a little bit longer. But overall, I thought the show was pretty good. And it was good for Jersey as well, given that they are months removed from Hurricane Sandy, and WrestleMania definitely give them a huge boost economically and so forth.
Absolutely. I think you're right on that. I think that Jersey, the fans, just from WrestleMania and Raw the night after, have proven that they're resilient people. They are just fine. Maybe not back to where they were before the hurricane or all the storms, but I think definitely that they are still willing to be entertained. And I think that for whether it's the WWE or independent promotions in that area, I think that it's a market well worth tapping into. And like you said, I definitely did not have high expectations, I suppose, going into WrestleMania, but just reading the results and reading real-time results, I got the sense that everyone was going all out, if you get my gist. I think that everyone really put their game face on and delivered in the highest way.
Now, Jersey, they were into it on Sunday, but Monday, oh man, that was probably one of the biggest crowds I've ever heard in watching the show. I mean, they were humming, they were chanting all sorts of things, especially Orton and Sheamus that had nothing to do with them. They were just chanting stuff. They chanted Cole's name, they chanted JBL, they chanted Jerry. Hell, Randy Orton is in the match, and they chanted Randy Savage. And yeah, and I guess my favorite, this may be an odd one, but Fandango. I mean, the crowd was humming his theme song.
I think that might be probably the greatest thing I've heard in a long time, just because you hear about WWE being stale and the product being stale and writers losing faith in gimmicks, but gosh, it seems like people are really jumping on to Johnny Curtis or Fandango, his character. I love it. I think it's great.
I mean, if he was still Johnny Curtis, would the crowd would be chanting like that? I mean, no. it's pretty obvious that the whole Johnny Curtis character just didn't quite work out. So they need to change. And it's funny, a few weeks ago, crowds and social media, people saying he can't wrestle. Now all of a sudden, everyone wants to hum his theme song. I mean, I don't know. Maybe a change of tune, perhaps. I don't know. It's just interesting how people change their perceptions.
I think you're absolutely right. It'll be interesting, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, to see, especially because I believe they're going on a foreign tour now. It'll be interesting to see how the foreign crowds react, and then even the domestic crowds outside of Jersey, because it's like you said, it's like the whole song and dance with every single person I've spoken to about wrestling in the last week has changed about Fandango. It seems like they are right on his gravy train now.
He may be portrayed as a heel right now, but if if every crowd he goes from this day forth keeps up with the humming and things like that, I mean, do you think he'll turn into babyface, or do you think they just let nature take its course, just see how far this can go?
I think the gimmick is probably, at its core, it's better as a heel gimmick, just because the principle of the gimmick, at least in my opinion, is the chauvinistic "I am better," etc. gimmick. But I think just based on crowd reaction, like you said, I think it would be best just to let nature take its course, because if the people get behind something, the whole purpose of wrestling is if the people like it, give them more of that. And the people love Fandango apparently, and so I for one am all for giving the people what they want.
Well said, man. I mean, it was a crazy couple of days. I mean, as always, there's gonna be like mixed reactions because some things have changed with WWE throughout the years. But I'm not gonna speak for everybody, but I will say that by you reading the results and all, you enjoyed it, and from me watching it, I enjoyed it, and I guess hey, they may be a happy customer. You know, you can't please everybody, but as long as they know there's people out there that care, then hey, more power to them. Do you have any upcoming matches, any upcoming shows that you have in the works, Andrew?
Absolutely. See, just recently, Kenny, I've been working for this promotion that runs primarily out of Selma. I believe the very first show that Southern Premier Wrestling ran was the weekend of our first call, and since then, buddy, it has blown up, and we are having a great time with it. All the workers are having, fans especially, are having a wonderful time. That's Southern Premier Wrestling, and we're running in Selma for the next little stretch of time, and we have a great roster. Our mutual friend Sean Reed, of course.
Mm-hmm.
We have people such as Michael Gilbert. We have Izzy Rotten, Nick Grimes, Ricky Smith, Corey Daniels. There's plenty of awesome talent. I can't even list. The Facebook page, our web guy is phenomenal. I can't speak enough about how much work and time and just awesome material is on there for the fans, and it seems like something that can last for a long time and will continue. And this weekend particularly, we're going to be at the National Guard Armory in Selmer, Tennessee for SPW 5, I believe it is, and they're calling the event Tomorrow Never Dies, and tickets are $3. I'm going to be wrestling Christian Shane, and it should turn out to be a pretty great evening.
Speaking of Nick Grimes, I am familiar with that name. I'm hoping that he'll be on the show in the future to talk about it. Sent me a message, and he's got a lot of high hopes for it as well. There appears to be a lot of great reception for it, and I live in Kentucky, unfortunately. I wish I could see for myself, but that's good to hear. You know, that's SPW is a lot of buzz about it, and you being a wrestler, I mean, that's gratifying.
Absolutely. You know, it's gratifying to see that it's gratifying to see people smiling and having a good time as you're doing what you love to do, and as they're leaving, and as they're posting on the Facebook and saying they're excited for the next show. And we've only been running for a month or so now, but I really think that we have a wonderful fan base who is hopefully going to follow us just to the end of the earth. And I appreciate the fact that you even have heard such buzz, and I would love to have you on the show, buddy. I think that'd be great.
That would be awesome, man. Definitely, I'll definitely keep that in mind. Keep that open. Andrew, it was great talking to you again. Congrats to SPW. Congrats to you as well. I'm looking forward to hearing more about this company in the future, and you and Sean and Nick and everybody else. SPW Southern Premier Wrestling. We keep an eye on it and support your local pro indie wrestling shows. And that's pretty much about it, man. I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. Thank you for being here on this milestone show, and support local pro wrestling. Everybody go do that, no matter where you are, where you from, what country you live in, where you repping. Go out. There's more to wrestling than what you see on TV. You go to your neighborhood or bingo or whatever the case may be. Spread the word. Support your local shows. They get it done.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, Kenny, for having me on, buddy. It's always a pleasure being here, and thanks for all the kind words about SPW. I just have one favor to ask you, buddy, before I go, if that's cool.
Go right ahead, man.
Give Nick Grimes the hardest time he calls in for me, please. Oh, ask him everything you can possibly ask that he won't know. I would have the best time listening to that ever.
That's gonna be a challenge, but I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do.
Thanks, Kenny, buddy.
All right, man. You have a good night.
You too. See ya.
All right, bye-bye.